right, so welcome to another episode of the Lady Trucking CEO podcast. Today, I have another amazing guest here with us. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes, my name is Shan. I own Logistics by Logan, a transportation consulting business, and I help people start and maintain their trucking company. And I newly educate people on the transportation industry and the many opportunities within it.
Awesome. So, how did you get started? What made you decide to start your business?
Yes, really, I knew it was about 2019. I knew for a while that I wanted to have a business and be in
Mm-hmm.
business. I knew for sure I wanted a service-based business because that's like a gift that I
Mm-hmm.
know it's easy for me to serve or do something for someone else. That's something that I love. After that, one day on Instagram, I saw a post. Someone was talking about she does dispatching and she had like this, she showed her bank account. I was like, okay, we're talking, well, like, you got my attention. What are we talking about? She had this money, it's like millions, so maybe like 12 million in the bank account or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. So she had my attention and I started following her and she was just talking about dispatching and trucking. So I followed her for like 6 months and I was just
Mm-hmm.
studying the industry and just
Mm-hmm.
learning different trailers, trucks, different certifications, brokers, dispatchers, cents per mile, all this stuff. I was just learning about everything that I could. And then I took the leap and I purchased her course. Come 2020, I started my own business and I
Mm-hmm.
started dispatching. And people were so surprised. They're like, you've been only doing this for 6 months. How do you know so much? The course was great. And I actually took the time to study to get to know it for myself. So from there,
Mm.
I started dispatching. I worked with probably about 10 carriers, 10 owner operators for a while. And from there, I felt like the industry was getting saturated, in my opinion, with dispatchers. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what do I want to do to stand out from the other companies? So then I began to learn about compliance. And I was like, okay, this right here is something like I could just leave all the dispatching behind because this right here on its own is something. And carriers like,
Right.
oh yeah, I need this, I need this, I need that.
Mm-hmm.
And they was spending the money. Like they weren't no issues. And whatever you got to do, to make sure I'm good. So that's kind of how I got into where I'm at right now. And even from here, things are shifting or expanding. I'm
Mm.
going even more into other things within transportation. So that's kind of how I got started.
So right now, you guys mostly focus on compliance right now?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
compliance, we do all things compliance, IFTA, IRP,
Mm-hmm.
KYU, permits, overweight permits, with needing escorts and all of that. We actually do recruiting as well.
Okay.
I enjoy recruiting.
Okay.
We have a drug consortium, so we help with drug tests. I enjoy working with SAP drivers, especially owner operators that, they need somebody to manage that. They're like, can I just get my mom to do it? No,
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 sir.
your mom cannot manage your drug program for you. So I enjoy just working with them. And really, right now, that's like the sweet spot for me because I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
a lot of drivers or owner operators or just drivers in general that are in staff that are being treated differently. So I'm really
Mm.
advocating for them and making sure they're finishing the program
Mm-hmm.
and able to get better opportunities or not, because unfortunately, a lot are being treated poorly just because they're in the staff with their current employers.
So, for those who may not know, can you explain what the SAP program is, what that means, and what going through the SAP program looks like?
Yeah, so the SAP program, it's so funny when I ask drivers, are you in the SAP? Yeah, yeah, I'm in the SAP. I was like, okay, so you've had a positive drug test or alcohol test in the clearinghouse. Oh, no, no, that's not me. So if you're in SAP, you know you're in SAP. They just be wanting to sign up. This is not a program you want to be in. But if you find yourself there, it's not the end of the world. But pretty much the SAP program is, like I said, when you've had a positive drug test or alcohol test, when you were scheduled for a random or reasonable suspicion,
Mm-hmm.
something came back not right. And pretty much the FMC is saying they're not throwing you out, but you have to go through where you meet with a counselor, go through the training, the testing to see if you really want to get back into trucking or if this is like a real addiction or something that you have going on. Pretty much you get your counselor, they set out a plan for you, which can be from, I've seen from 1 year to 3, depending on what it was and how frequent this has happened. From there, pretty much you have your plan. You don't know what the plan is. Your plan can be from anywhere from eight to maybe 20 tests within, depending on how long, your counselor has given you to be on the SAP program. From there, I follow you along through that journey, giving you your tests, making sure everything is being done. And once you're finished, we submit that to the FMCSA through the clearinghouse to get that cleared off your record. I'm finding some drivers, once they're done, they're fine, but I'm also finding other drivers that once they're done, they're still having some issues because some companies are now, oh, we want you 3 to 5 years out of SAP before we even hire you.
Wow.
So it's serious. So this is a PSA to all drivers. If you want to be in the trucking industry, because the number one thing is marijuana. I get the argument, oh, it's legal here, it's legal there, everybody named mama doing it. You just can't do it. And I hear it's lotion, shampoo, pills, sunscreen, edibles, gum, whatever, oil. You just can't do it. You can't use it. It's not worth the risk. If you truly want to make a career within the transportation industry, in my opinion, it's just not worth the risk. Yeah. So that's the SAP program.
And you have to also consider, like, you are driving an 80,000-pound piece of equipment that is literally a weapon if you are not in your right mind, so there literally is no room for forever. There's no room for that at all.
Just, I'm big on safety because I always put myself in the place of the people out there on the road. My family's on the road, my family drives on the road, and people I care about are on the road. So safety first. Like, I don't play around with that.
Absolutely. What has been the biggest challenge you find with dealing specifically with SAP drivers or with people in that particular program?
The biggest challenge is they're being mistreated. Honestly, there are a lot of, because I work with owners.
Okay.
With compliance, because I'm dealing with owners that I'm helping them with their back office. So if I am recruiting, if I'm hiring a driver with SAP, they'll call me back, hey, this is changing, or they'll mention, they're kind of like throwing it literally over driver's head saying, oh, well, you're on the SAP, and you're on the SAP program, ain't nobody really gonna hire you. That's not okay. Like, that's not a good attitude to have, whether they're on the SAP or not. Now that is the truth. It is hard for them to find a job right now, but that's still they're not second-class citizens. They're still people who have made mistakes. They just got caught.
And so they're not able, so even if they're owner operators, they can't operate their business when they're in the SAP program.
No. So an owner operator definitely can operate his business still being in the SAP program. He just has to, have met with a counselor, and that counselor is approved through the FMCSA, set out their plan. From there, they're working with someone that's managing that drug plan for them. So that's something that I do. But it's different when you own your business. You can't manage your own plan. So you have to hire a third party, a CTPA, to manage that for you. So the difference with drivers that are working with, that are actual drivers and that don't own the company, the owner knows, okay, you're in this program and it's hard for you to get a job. They kind of treat them, they feel like they're going to put up with certain things because it is hard for them to get a job somewhere else.
Okay. So what are some of the things that that need to be put in place, or what are some things that you would say would need to be put in place to help alleviate that issue? Like, or what mindset shift then would you say people would need to have, so that we can still look at these drivers as human beings and not, because we literally all have, we all have shortcomings and we all have different, things where we might need some grace extended to us. So what would you say?
It's literally that grace is needed, but it's a tough position for the drivers to be in because you want to work and you want to provide for your family, but some certain things you just got to find those companies that are
Mm.
still, doing good business, that you got
Mm.
somebody good at the top, somebody honest at the top. And
Right.
unfortunate, you just have to find, I call them diamonds in the rough.
Mm.
Like I call certain drivers diamonds in the, like finding a solid driver, they're a
Yeah.
diamond in the rough. Finding a owner that, has this family oriented business that actually cares about their drivers. They're not numbers to them. So
Mm.
that's a big issue that I'm finding, is that a lot of these people don't even care about their drivers. Like, who's checking on these people? Like, these people aren't necessarily communicating. You don't even know what's going on at home. Like, they're, like you said, they're got 80,000 pounds behind them. Like, something can switch. They can be so
Right.
frustrated. Just a call, a thank you, or how you doing today, that
Mm.
means so much. That can change so much on the atmosphere of a job. But that's one thing that's missing, like just integrous people at the top, because
Mm.
that's really the only thing. I don't think the FMCSA really can do anything about it, because the drivers want the job, so they're going to put
Yeah.
up with certain things because they know they want to provide for their family. So really, that's the only thing, just getting quality people at the top,
Mm.
and signing on with a quality company that actually care about their drivers.
And so when it comes to um the business, so you have the SAP portion, and then you also have the compliance. Do you still also do dispatching?
Oh,
No.
no, well, no, I do not offer any type of dispatching service. Now, I still might get certain emails. So if I find like a dedicated lane or something good, something similar, I'll send it out. Hey, somebody jump on, call and find out about this. This sound good. But other than, no, absolutely
Your
not.
face said it all.
Absolutely not. No, 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 no.
Okay. All right. So let's go a little bit. Tell me about what was it like growing up for you? What was growing up like?
Growing up, just right. I thought I was going to be in the medical field. My grandmother and my mother, they have a path in the medical industry. So growing up, I always thought, that's the path that I'm going to take.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, I even thought I stayed home. I was like a mama's girl. I stayed home for college.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't finish college because I think really God allowed me not to finish, because I was finding my identity in a degree, and he wanted
Mm.
me to know like if that wasn't it. So my
Mm.
last semester I didn't finish, and I still don't even have a desire to go back and finish. Like, you should go finish. Mm-mm. And God told me to finish, I'll finish. But if not, he was like, don't even worry about it. I want you to trust me. And this is way better than what I had planned as far as the
Mm-hmm.
medical field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, um, well, it depends. On my mom's side, I have four siblings. On my dad, seven.
Okay.
So,
So where are you in the mix?
well, my dad's first three is with my mom, so I'm the third, and then
Okay.
so I got four little brothers, and then on my mom's side, I have a little sister.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm in the mix of that big family. But yeah,
You liked growing up in a big family?
I do, and I did. Yeah, I love people around me. I love hosting. I ain't have people at my house in a minute, but I do love hosting. I love to cook. My grandmother taught me how to cook. My dad taught me how to cook. My dad is actually Jamaican, so I cook a lot of Jamaican food. I love
Nice.
a lot of Caribbean food. I love to cook. Love, love, love to cook.
Yes, cooking is definitely a part of the mix when you're in a Jamaican household or any
Yes,
parent is Jamaican.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you think that that impacts how you are showing up in your business today?
Um, I think just with certain things, you just kind of have that knowing. Like growing up, I knew, like after I knew that the health industry was out, I knew it was business. Like I knew, I worked in corporate and banking for a while. I was like, I know this isn't forever. So I had the mindset, okay, I'm gonna use what I'm learning here. I can use this one day in my business. So I know for sure that shaped me. Like I helped start a whole new department. So I understand how to build things up. A lot of those practices and things I learned then I use now. But all in all, I it's just like it's hard to explain. It's just like that knowing. Like
Mm,
I think it's just one of those desires that God put in your heart, and He fulfills it. So He
yes.
desired for me to have that. And thinking about like on my dad's side, everybody's an entrepreneur. Like nobody works for nobody at all.
Mm.
But and I receive it. I love the gift.
Yes,
I
yes.
love it. I don't see myself going back into corporate. And that's nothing against anyone in corporate. That's just
Mhm.
not what's set up for
For
me.
you, exactly.
Yes,
I,
that's not what's set
I
up for
I
me.
definitely believe that embracing the natural gift thing that you
Yes.
have is so important and will definitely lead you into places that you literally never really even imagined that you would be in, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm the middle child. I have two sisters, an older sister and a younger sister, and I'm always the one that was a little special, a little bit rebellious, you know. But I think that it definitely help me on this journey, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely embracing your gift is integral to
Yes.
really helping to get to where you're supposed to be. And then the people that you serve, being a people person and like having all those people around you, definitely like some people are more introverted or some more extroverted. But in this industry, in the capacity that you're serving, you definitely have to be like a person that likes talking to people
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What would you say so far has been like your biggest success? Like that thing that you're like, yes, this is why I do what I do. I love this.
I was just talking about this literally the other day with one of my drivers. My favorite thing is that I can tell drivers feel heard when I connect with them.
Mm,
When we talk in business, or even if I'm asking about their personal life, tell me about back home, what's going on, those type of things. Like literally, so many drivers. We talk about men. We talk about grown men. Thank you for hearing me. I appreciate you listening to me, or reaching out or even asking about that. They've never experienced that. So I think there needs to be a real, I don't even know what word I want to use, but we need to put some actual like care into our drivers. Like, how do you plan to keep a company running? You don't even care about the people that's operating your equipment. It's nothing for them to leave. There's job ads. Trucking jobs is the number one ad on Indeed. It's
mm,
the number one ad on Indeed within the transportation. So it's nothing for them to leave and go somewhere else. What's making your company special? I think I disagree that there's a driver shortage. There's a shortage in quality owners treating the drivers right, actually caring more about the money that's being made. I think the priorities are mixed up
yeah.
in not a lot of companies. There's some great. I don't want to make it seem like it's all bad companies. There's some great companies out there. I've ran into some amazing owners,
Mm-hmm.
but that's one big issue that I'm running into. Like, care about your people.
Mm.
That's the big thing I'm running into.
Yeah. More care about the people more than the bottom line because
Yes.
when you show that care and that trust and that appreciation, then the level of work that you get or
Yes.
the commitment that you get is a lot stronger, you
Yes.
know? It's
Take
just like
care
in
of your
any
people.
relationship. Yeah,
Yes.
just like in any relationship. When somebody looks out for you, they take care of you, they help, you know, like you're more willing to
Yes.
go the extra mile because you
Yes.
can. Yeah. Okay, so where do you see yourself like in the next 5 years in your business?
5 years. Well, somebody gonna be running it in the next 5 years because I'm getting ready to be a housewife, pregnant. Not yet, but I'm getting ready to be a housewife. So somebody gonna be running the business. So I'm gonna be doing the business part time. But really within the next 5 years, I desire to continue to educate. I guess when you ask me about growing up, I was a bad, but in school, I was bad. So like alternative schools, I was, they were threatening to send me to alternative school all the time. And I don't know where you're from. They take us, like the bad kids. They take us on like a field trip to jail to see people in jail. And I was one of them people, and really, to be honest, I think I was acting out because that's the type of attention that I was getting. So these kids that are in these programs, they're not bad. Like, it's something missing that they're not getting or receiving. So I see them and I can recognize them, but unfortunately, some people already have bad situations, or home isn't great. So the transportation industry is a perfect field for them to get out and get to know who they are, because sometimes home is toxic. You know,
Mm.
everybody's doing this, but that's not even who you truly are, what you like, what you're doing because everybody else is doing it. So, and like I mentioned earlier, educating people on the transportation industry and the opportunities that are available is something that's really important to me. So I'm educating locally within my schools, or like boys and girls programs
Mhm.
or those alternative schools, so they can find that path, or even because college wasn't it for me. So it
Right.
may not be it for other people. I want them to show them this is a path you can do, and you can make plenty of money in trucking. So
Oh,
start
absolutely.
at the bottom, get your CDL, drive, get out, get to see the world, get to know who you are. You don't have no bills. You can live out of a truck. Trucking is a lifestyle.
It
So
is
I
100%.
educate and teach people on that. I am looking to, I'm going into government work, government
Mhm.
contract work as well. Because that's something we didn't even get into that. These rates, my Lord, my Lord. So I would love to go into that and paying drivers what they're worth. Of course, I'm still making my money off the top, but paying people what they're worth.
Yeah, that's
That's a
the
big thing.
that's one of the challenges I find. Like, I'll be like, what's going on with these rates? They're up and they're down. There's good times and there's not so great times. Right now, it's a little bit, I don't know what's going on with them rates. But like you said, the government is definitely one client that is always looking for people to work and to run freight and transport what they need, and they pay pretty good, so
Yes. So that's something
definitely.
I'm looking to get into. But those are the areas of focus right now. Like, housewife. I'm getting that together, and really educating the youth about this
Mhm.
opportunity because it could change lives and it could
Oh,
save so
100%.
that it can. So
Yeah.
that's huge to me right now. And on that end, just the back end of securing some contracts and
Mm.
getting under some dedicated work for some carriers.
What motivates you every day to get up and do what you do? Like, what is that motivating factor? I know sometimes in life you get up, you wake up and you just don't feel like it, but how do you get past that?
To be honest, I just came full time within my business in August last year.
Wow.
And thank you. And since then, honestly, I get up every day. I'm ready to do this.
Okay.
I don't have that drowsiness, or you have your days. That's,
Yeah,
women,
yeah,
we got to deal with every now and then. So we have those days, but honestly, I just it's a passion of mine. I think, and that's why, especially with dealing with the youth or
yeah.
just
Mhm.
seeing what I see. I have a passion for this thing to be here, and it's
Yes.
mine. It's for me.
Yes.
It's not for somebody else. It's not, I don't feel purposeless. When I was going to corporate, it wasn't like I asked God that question all the time, like, what is this serving? Like, who is this serving? Whose life is being changed because
Mhm.
I'm here showing up doing this? I didn't feel that way. So now I'm grateful. Like I was just telling my dad earlier today, like I'm just so grateful because we were riding around by some corporate. But I was like,
Mhm.
thank God I do not have to go into no office. Like
Yes.
I get to work remote. I
Yes.
get to do all this. And he was like, well, are you working now? I'm like, yeah, I'm working right now. We riding around. This is me working. But that's it. Me knowing that
Yes.
I'm making a difference in drivers' lives,
Hmm.
that helps me get up. So I'm not really down, and I just changed my mindset. I just changed my
Yeah.
mind. That's
Mindset.
the big thing. I just
What was
changed my mindset.
what was the biggest part of the mindset that you had to change in order to get to the place where you are now?
Honestly, this mindset shift came when I left the job. When I decided, like, you know what, God, other people are doing this. Like, you're no respecter of persons. Like, if you're calling me to this thing, you're gonna support me. You know what bills I have, because that's my thing. I was operating out of fear. I'm only going to this job or staying here trying to do both out of fear. And I just really fell more into him, more in trusting him that he's gonna
Yes.
provide for me. That if he's calling me to this thing, it's for a reason. Like he has the
Yes.
clients already ready for me. He has the contracts waiting for me.
Girl,
I
you
just
too.
have to show up and believe him, acknowledge him first,
Yes.
and everything is gonna flow. Like he's not
Yep.
calling me to this for nothing. So
Exactly.
that's what it was. Just stepping into another level of faith with him.
Yes. And it could be scary. I'm not
Oh
I
yeah.
completely uh understand and feel what you're saying. It's scary sometimes because we're so used to depending on what we see.
Yes.
And when we're about to take that step, it's like, oh my goodness, am I gonna fall? Am I gonna, I don't see where the ground is in front of me. It looks kind of like I'm about to step into thin air. Yeah. But either he's gonna give us wings to fly, or his hand is right there waiting for us to step right, for him to carry us to wherever we need to be. So yeah, it really is a faith walk, but that mindset shift to not looking for something to actually see, but just believing, knowing that, look, God can be trusted. He's not someone he's not capable of lying. He's not going to leave me here by myself. He can, he will provide. Like, he will definitely do what he said he will do. So, yeah. What are 3 things that you would say to like a young person who might be going down a road that might not be so good? 3 things that you would say to them to help shift their mindset.
3 things. Well, let me break this down. Let's go. Well, for sure, number 1 is have a relationship with God. And when I say have a relationship with God, your own relationship with Him, like love Him the way that you want to love Him, because He receives love different. He's created us all different. Let me stay on top, because I can go all off all
Girl,
that.
you better go ahead and let the Lord lead you. Say what He told you to say now.
So have your own authentic relationship with Him. Love Him the way you want to love Him. Speak to Him the way you want to speak to Him, in love. Have your own personal relationship with you. It's not going to look like your mom's, your grandma, your cousin, your brother, so somebody at church. Have your own relationship with Him. Number 1, and pray. Have a prayer life. What was in it? 3 things to a young person wanting to be on the garden path. Okay, have that relationship with Him. And from that, having that relationship with Him, you're going to come to know yourself. Come to know yourself and be honest with what you want. Even if that's the absolute opposite of what everybody else around you is doing, be honest and secure in that, and surround yourself with people that are where you want to be. So once you find out that thing that it is, I want to pursue this, this is the path that I want to go. It's not going to be exactly like the people you surround yourself with, but it's going to help you. It's going to motivate you, and it's going to push you. So get that relationship with God, your own authentic relationship with Him. Come to know yourself, who you are, what you want to do, and put yourself in a room and around people that are on that path, that are already where you want to be.
That's good. That's so good. That is so good. That is so good. I hope y'all taking notes because it's so important, that relationship, that source that we have to tap into. And then once we tap into Him, He will show us who we are. And once we know who we are, then we're able to we won't suffer from all of the insecurities and the inadequacies and the imposter syndrome and all of these things that plague us, especially when we're getting into entrepreneurship and our own business. Like all of the lies that we tell ourselves or that we hear that the enemy throws at us, it's not going to be of any effect because we know who we are, because we're tapped into God, who tells us who we are. It's amazing. God is so good.
Yes, He is.
Ooh. That was a word. um so okay, so in your business now, I know you're in the process of rebranding, so do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Not yet.
Okay,
do another once we fully done. I don't mind doing another session, but
okay, so
not yet.
That's we're gonna hit that back on another time. We're gonna revisit that topic. Okay, cool. No problem. So in your business right now, as far as the challenges, like generally speaking, so we spoke about the challenges that the SAP drivers face. What would you say are some of the things that you've had to work through to even get to the point where you are right now?
What challenges have I worked through to get to where I'm at right now? Within business, I would say just to keep keep going,
Mhm.
just to keep going, especially after because you get a lot of no's. You get a lot of no's, or people kind of like if people don't really see you, they can only really hear you, so they kind of sense like, is she black? So,
Mm,
so kind of first of all, you're dealing with a woman thing. Unfortunate, it is
yeah.
what it is. Then they were like, they kind of question you or ask certain questions of to see if you qualified or if you know what's what. So that is a challenge that I have to overcome. And I'm just secure in who I am. Like I'm just secure to know I'll answer whatever question you have to ask and know that I'm confident of my skill set to get whatever needs to be done.
Right. Okay.
Not that I'm new to this. I've been doing this. So even if it's my first time, I go on with that confidence to shut that down. If I see that's an issue, but that is something. But that's like one of my favorite things about what I do. When people find out, they're just so intrigued. Like, what you in transportation? You what you? Because when you think about transportation, unfortunately, you think of like a
Mhm.
white male truck driver. So when you see a black woman, you be like, what? What do
It's
you know?
true. So true. So true. It's so true. But I do think that slowly but surely
Yeah,
that the face is shifting. It's
it is,
changing.
and it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful and it's very encouraging,
Yes.
because which is one of the reasons why it's so important for these your stories like yours
Yes.
and others who've been here to really so that people will know that, oh, okay, so I can do that, or oh, okay,
Absolutely.
this is something that I could definitely consider, or I could see myself, or I can relate to, whatever.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's pretty awesome. So now I would like for you, we're about to wrap up, but I'd like for you to just leave a word for any listener that might be listening, probably someone who might be thinking of starting a business or thinking of getting into trucking, or, just at any point, just share with uh, some last thoughts.
Some last thoughts for those wanting to get into transportation, men, women, children, you can do it. If you have that desire, you can do it. Like I don't want to come off like too confident and like I just had it off the bat. No, I went through months of, being scared to call, you know, scared to send a carrier packet, You got to start somewhere, but you just have to
Yeah.
keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
once you get that, you're gonna have to hold on to that. Once you know that you know that you know that this is what you want to do, you're gonna have to hold on to that thing because within entrepreneurship, even if you're balanced in both, it's gonna be a lot of things that come up to make you think, I just need to stay in corporate or I just need to
Mm-hmm.
stay because it's a lot of challenges, but you have to hold on to that why. Know your why while you're doing this. And it can't be for money.
Yes.
Can't be not. It can be for future generational wealth and things, great. But it can't just be for money because there's gonna be a lot of challenges that come up. So once you know that you know that you know that this is what you want to do, stay grounded on that thing. And sometimes you're gonna have to go back to it because
Mm.
you will have challenging days, but know that you can do this. Like I don't know, college degree, all that. I don't feel like that's a brag to have one because
Listen, I know there might be kids and stuff listening, but I'm gonna be honest. I think it's one of the biggest scams that's
misconceptions.
out
Yes,
there
scam.
because like it's you pay all this money for a degree and then when you get out after 4 years, you can't find a job in the industry, or you can't, even if you do find a job, it's hard to, get paid what you're supposed to get paid to be able to live. So it's 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 a construct that has been put into
Yeah.
place to you know educate the masses in a certain way. And
Well, yeah,
I'm not knocking college or anything like that. I
yeah,
definitely do think that college has its place.
yes,
Lawyers, doctors, dentists,
absolutely.
people like that. But I also think that um there is room in the education industry for more actual education to be taking place.
Yes,
I'll put it like that.
yes. I agree 100%, 100%. I'm for college if it's for you, but when you look at the most successful people, they're entrepreneurs, they're
And they
business owners.
and they did not finish. Some of them, like they literally dropped, they did not finish. And,
Yeah.
that's not a brag or anything. I'm just saying, because I mean, I have my degrees and everything else, but I'm here in trucking. What I have my degrees in, I'm not doing that
Yeah.
anymore. So, everything has its place, and I don't believe that anything is wasted. So, like, even if
Absolutely.
a person did graduate from college and they have their degrees, but they're feeling that emptiness that you mentioned earlier, like I definitely felt that.
Yeah.
Like I in another life, like in my earlier years, I was an
Yeah.
interior designer and I did that for like 10 years. And I remember I was just like walking one day and I was just like, how do this is not, I don't think this is what I'm really supposed to be doing. I just am not fulfilled. That passion wasn't there. I'm like, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? And, you know, it's important to be able to follow the flow
Yeah.
of where the spirit is taking you.
Absolutely.
Where God is leading you, it's important to go in that direction because you can't go wrong when you follow that. And he'll blow your mind. Like he will definitely put you in front of some people, put you in some rooms, uh make some provisions that you're just like,
Yes.
wow, only God, only you. So that's amazing. How can people connect with you if they want to retain you for their services or if they want to connect with you?
Yes, you all can connect with me via social media. My Instagram is the company name Logistics by Logan, and our contact information, email, and phone number is all on there via Instagram, as well as Facebook. I'll keep that site up for a little while because it is changing, but we'll be back on with the new company info soon.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Shan, it has been such a pleasure talking to you. And thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Lady Trucking CEO podcast. We will see you guys next time. Bye. Take care.